So as it is, so this is pretty much the harmonic scanner. It's a fun tool to use. I really find it really interesting to utilize this tool, right? Because in a sense, what's gonna happen when you're utilizing this tool is you're gonna be able to copy and paste trade ideas, right? Just by following the instructions that I'm about to give you guys, and now be able to make a profit on your MetaTrader 4 or your MetaTrader 5 platform, right? It's very, very simple enough, and I'm gonna lay down the steps, what I'm looking for once I get on the scanner. Because as you can see here, you have multiple different time frames. You have the M, you have pretty much the, what's it called? M15, M30, H1, H4. And in those, you're gonna have also different brokers that you guys can utilize and the tools here on the side, right? So I like to use the harmonics for my direction, and then afterwards I'll go on my own trading view, and I'll now mark up myself a nice sniper entry because I've learned the strategy of steady, which allows me to now trade institutional using Wyckoff terminologies, right? But for today, we're going to focus on the harmonic scanner, solely on that and how you can profit directly from the scanner with no additional tools needed, right? So now I'm going to pull up my notepad because I want to have you guys have this. You guys can, if you guys can see my notepad, go ahead and drop a 111 really quickly in the chats, and make sure everyone can see my notepads. So right here, as you guys can see, so harmonics. Perfect. So as far as harmonics goes out, awesome, great. So as far as harmonics goes, I want you guys to really put the focus. I want to put the focus on, more so this, right? What I'm looking for in harmonics, on a harmonic scanner, I'm looking for Euro USD, GBP USD, GBJ, Euro odd, Euro NZD, odd USD, NZD USD, BTC USD, and I'm also looking for XAU USD. These are mainly pairs that react in the New York session pairs, and I have a couple of, I've added a couple of pairs as well that are London session pairs because I like to trade the pound, I like to trade the GBP JPY, and also the GBP GBP CAD pair, right? So that's why I added it for as far as a pound pair, because those are the pairs I enjoy trading. But mainly for everything US dollar currency, these are the pairs you want to focus on from the scanner, right? And that I focus on personally, right? So very easy to copy and paste from the harmonic scanner, but I need you guys to remember one thing, right? So you guys want to go ahead and take literally minimum 5 to 10 trades per day from the scanner, because there's a lot of trades that get given out on the scanner. Most of the time we just don't realize it. So I want you to go ahead and practice taking 5 to 10 trades per day. Practice it on your demo account and duplicate everything into your live account, because you're able to use the tools, and you're not going to lose 100% of the time, because the tool on a harmonic scanner is pretty much an accuracy rate of 75% and over, right? If you're losing, it's probably due to you not following the instructions I'm about to give you, right? So take 5 to 10 trades per day. So that could be either at least 3 times. That could be at least 3 times to 5 times out of your week, right? So you can, if you're trading only 3 times during the week, great. If you're trading 5 times out of your week, great. Divide that however you'd like to, just to make sure that you come up to where you need to do, right? So anywhere between, I always suggest anywhere from between 7 a.m. to about 1 p.m. Eastern time, right? 6, 7 a.m. to about 1 p.m. Eastern time. That's the time you want to be looking for these trade ideas. That's going to be the most optimum time. Now, do you know when the harmonic scanner refreshes? Because it gives you different currencies, but do we know when it refreshes? And no, we do not know when it refreshes, right? But I've come to realize every single time there's a new session, the harmonic scanner refreshes itself, and it constantly updates itself 24/7. That's why this is our AI technology that literally allows us to just see the patterns flow over and over again in the marketplace, and literally be able to just copy the credentials of what's popping up, right? So now moving forward from there, and if you're now trading, someone that's trading more in the evening time, you want to look through the scanner between 9 p.m. and 1 a.m., right? Between that 9 p.m. and 1 a.m. time, you'll be able to find a lot of nice optimum setups that's going to line up for London session or New York session for the next coming day. But at least you'll be able to see them in advance and prepare yourself ahead of time for these ideas, right? Now, also here, you can choose to maneuver in the 1 hour and 4 hour time frame, right? So 1 hour, 4 hour time frame, or the M15 or the M30. M15, M30 is more so fast paced. You might be able to get in and out within a matter of literally 30 minutes to an hour. As far as the 1 hour and 4 hour, it could take you pretty much throughout 4 hours during the day or towards the next day as well, right? All depending if you're holding your position or you're looking to just get in and close, and if it hits or not. Yeah, I'll definitely go ahead and share these notes in our group, right? Yeah, I'll definitely go ahead and share the notes right here. I'll drop it here for now, and later on I'll drop it in the group. Right. So this is what pretty much what I look to focus on when I'm looking at these pairs, right? So now the next thing is your risk to reward. You want to have minimum risk reward of 3 to 1. So that means when I say 3 to 1, that means you're going to be risking one apple, right, to obtain 3 apples. One apple to obtain 5 apples, right? And these are the setups that's going to allow you to be profitable. Regardless of if you win or lose, is not important as long as you're using great risk reward. Because what's going to happen more times than others, you're probably going to win more trades than you lose. And even if you lose more, because you're using great risk reward, one trade can make you back all that you lost and then some, right? Just because the risk reward factor is in play, right? Setups usually are better off on the 1 hour and the 4 hour time frame, and the brokers that I use on it is FX Choice, Hot Forex Traders Way. Of course, if you're with Hugo's Way, I would recommend you going to go see what's happening on Hugo's Way on a regular. That would be very much also helpful to you, right? Um, would love to know the platform that you use, the platform that you are using. What platform what platform do you mean exactly? But as far as this goes, right? So I've gone ahead and shared the notes with you guys just so you guys can be aware of the note aspect of it. But I'm gonna go ahead and do it right here with you guys, right? So for my notes, it's just the notes on my iPhone, pretty much. Just notes on my iPhone, pretty much. That's all I'm doing. Not iPhone, but on the Mac. So just notepad, excuse me. So so right here we have we're on Traders Way. So we have different brokers here. Traders Way, like I mentioned, FX Choice, Hot Forex. Those are the ones I like to tune into. If you're with Hugo's, we can also take a look at Hugo's Way. Now, very, very important, guys. As you guys come here, like I urge you, to look for a higher time frame idea, because these are the ideas that are going to be more optimum and that's going to get you paid, right? Okay, as it's loading, I'm going to go ahead and click on the next pair. So these are part of the pairs that I said that we can have access to, right? So as we see this pair now, we see Euro USD, right? We see Euro USD that's here. We see GBP USD that's here. These are both pairs that I mentioned, right? So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of show you guys exactly what I would do. Now, in this sense that I've seen these two pairs, these two trades are both at entry, right? And what I want you guys to take heed of doing, when you guys see two entries, that means you can enter in between, right? Or at one of the two entries, right? Now, what you want to go ahead and do first is you want to go ahead and measure what's the risk reward for this. If the risk reward makes sense, which means it's a 3 to 1 or a 5 to 1 and above, we can now take this trade. So we're going to go here and find the tools on the side here. Number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. On the 7th tool, you want to click on there. You're going to see a long position and a short position. A long position means we're buying into the marketplace, and a short position means that we are selling into the marketplace. And to answer that question, so if you have the DCX package, you have access to the Harmonics scanner. You just have to simply go directly to the website and then log in with your username and password, and you'll be able to have access. That's what I showed everyone at the beginning of the call. So now, right here, so you want to go ahead and do this, right? So adjust this up, and as you guys can see, we're currently at this, we're nearest to this entry. What's going to happen when you have two entries? What I suggest you guys do is take entry number 1 here, take it all the way to the last TP, right? Last TP is right down there. And when you do that, now look at the risk reward that pops up. It says it's a 4. So we're going to be risking 1 apple for 4 apples in this case. Now, so this trade will be more so valid, right? Because we're risking 1 apple to gain 4 times more, 4 apples, right? So that makes a lot of sense. This trade is a trade that I would take, right? So now, next thing is next that you'd have to do now is go ahead, if you want to say, oh, the market is closer to the other one, you want to now change this up, right? Go ahead and use the same thing where you can just click on it, and then you can go into settings and you click on clone, and the clone is going to pop up, right? So I'm going to put this right here to this entry now. And now I'm going to put my stop loss where the actual stop is, the red, right? Why am I not putting it into the green? Because, this is going to, if ever it goes to there, it's going to stop us out at the green, and then we can re-enter again, right, from that position, right? So now, from that higher position, of course, that's the best position to take, because now you now have the possibility to have a risk to reward of a 7-1. So this is the way you're going to be risking one apple to gain 7 times more, which is 7 more apples. I hope that makes sense, guys, all right? So this trade idea is a valid trade for us to take. Now, is this right now in this second the best time to take it, given that it's already 3 p.m. and the market is about to close within the next couple of hours for the weekend? It's not recommended. If you're a long-time trader and you don't mind holding things over the weekend, sure, go ahead. But me, myself, I'm not entering this trade till next week. Like, I already have this idea in mind, but I'm not going to enter this trade till next week, right? So this is a valid trade that I would go ahead and click here. Now, if you guys wanted to share this with me in the chats, right, where I can now evaluate it or tell you guys, yo, this looks good, like a good setup, or you just want to share with the family what you found, right? So you can go ahead and click on the camera on top right here, click on save. When you click on save, it pops up on your screen, and that's where you can now click on it, right? And now go ahead, copy and paste, and go ahead and drop that directly into our Telegram chats, right? And now share it directly with the family, and then they can give you an input of whatever they're seeing, and if they're seeing that too with their own personal markups or not. Now, so far, does that make sense, right? If that makes sense, go ahead and drop an MS in the chat box for me really quickly. I want to make sure this makes sense so far to you guys. Awesome. I see the MS is coming through. If it does not make sense, just feel free to say question. I'm going to do another example just to show you guys also. Here again, GBP USD, right? GBP USD, I'm going to use this chart too, because it's right here, and look at this, right? In this case, we're going to go here again, the 7 tool. We're going to go pick up a short position and put my stop right here at this high. And we're going to take this all the way to this low, right? To the C point. Now, guys, I need you guys to let me know, using the chat box, would this be a valid trade for us to take? Yes or no, right? Would this be a valid trade for us to take? Yes or no? And there's no right or wrong answer, just say something, please, right? Because it's just for you guys to know if this is a good trade or not. So I have your Tasia said no, it wouldn't be a good trade. Who else has an input on this? Would this be a good trade or not? That's what I want to know. Right? So the answer is pretty much this wouldn't be a good setup, simply because you need to make sure you're risking one apple, right? You need to make sure you're risking one apple to obtain literally, you need to make sure you're risking one apple to obtain 3 apples or more, right? When you're in the marketplace. So in this event here, we're risking about 1 apple to gain 1.7 apples. And that's not what we want. We want to make sure that our risk reward is at least where we can have it at 3-1 or a 5-1, right? That's what we want to make sure our risk reward is. So in this event, this specific trade, I would just ignore it because the risk reward doesn't add up. It may be at the entry, it may look cute and all that, right? But I would not enter this trade. So if I go back to that previous trade, right, your USD, why are we able to take this trade? Because right here we can see we're risking literally 1 apple to gain 7 times more. This is a risk to reward ratio. So one of the criteria that we had mentioned in the beginning of the call is that you want to make sure the trade that you're taking have a 5-1 risk to reward idea or a 3-1 risk to reward idea. That way, no matter what happens, you win or lose, you know that you're going to be coming back in profit sooner than later. All right, I hope that's clear and direct for everybody. So now you guys can rewatch and really hone in on this, right? So this is what we do with 2 entries. They're both we do both 3-1, 5-1 and above. So these would be good trades for us to now take advantage of. Now going into GCAD, right? These are other pairs that, I said that I like to take a look at. Now, would this have been a good trade for me to take, right? I'm gonna do another one. So this is gonna be a buy scenario, right? This is gonna be a buying scenario. Now, would this have been a good buying scenario trade idea for me to take? It's crazy, but I dropped this trade in the groups with a slightly better entry. With a slightly better entry, once again, you want to go here, find a 7 tool, and this is a buy. We're buying from the low. At the D point, that's where we need to buy. So now I'm pulling my risk to reward ratio tool up. My stop loss is, I'm going to put it at my previous entry. My stop loss is going to be at this entry here, down below. And my take profit is going to be right up there, where the C point is, because you see here, take profit 1, take profit 2, and take profit 3, right? So when you guys see this, you guys have three exit points that you guys can now exit in the market. So market goes from here to here. It's going to take you out of the market. It's automatically in profit of a certain amount you're a certain amount of pips. So from the point of entry using the ruler, right? From the point of entry all the way to TP1, that's considered to be 35 pips. We're going to ignore the 1, so it's going to be 35 pips, right? Now, knowing and understanding that's going to be 35 pips, TP1 hits, 35 pips secure. Now, once you now go ahead and hit TP2, this thing that we call a stop loss, very, very much so important for you guys to make sure you guys bring this into profit. So at that point in time, you would modify this, and it becomes risk-free, right? And that's when you can now be on, you modify it on your MetaTrader 4, of course, right? Or MetaTrader 5, and you're going to modify your stop loss to be in profit. That way, no matter what happens, you're going to end up being in profit, right? Is the D point always going to be a buy/sell entry? And how do you know where to mark up other entries or SLs and TPs, right? So as far as marking up the entries and stop loss, everything is given to you, right? So we have the entry point right here, entry point number 2 again right here, and we have a stop loss. So we're going to utilize exactly the same numbers that are within the scanner. We're not going to derive from it. We're not going to change anything. We're going to use exactly the same parameters that they're given. All we're validating for it to be a good trade is that we're making sure that we're risking 1 apple to obtain three apples, or we're risking 1 apple to obtain 5 apples. Those are the situations we want to be in. Now, in the event that you have 2 entries, right? This is what I want you guys to take the habit of doing, is like, go ahead and look at your risk. Look at where you're risking and check, are you willing to risk that amount? If you're not willing to risk that amount, then don't play the cards, right? Don't play the game, right? So right here, so we have a 6-to-1 risk reward trade. We're risking 18 pips right here. We have about a 3.8 risk reward. We have we're risking about roughly 26 pips, right? So now, when it reaches this D point, I want you to notice that this D point went slightly below the point of entry, right? The D point sometimes will stretch itself and give itself an update, but I want you guys to know that the D point is always where we're going to be entering for a buy or a sell. At a low point, we're entering from the buy because it's forming a higher low, and at a high point, we're entering the D point from the high, which now makes that considered as a lower high, right? Selling from the lower high and buying what? From the higher low structure, right? So that's literally all that we're doing in the scanner. And this is how I'm able to just come on here and I see nice trades and I just send it to y'all, right? That's all that I'm doing. There's nothing too special. It's just because this plans out a direction, and you guys can see just from looking at, just from looking at it, what's been transpiring over here, right? We hit take profit 1, we hit take profit 2. So it's a wrap, right? So now I'm gonna go to a different pair. What other pair was there? Euro USD. Yeah, Euro USD was right there. It was the next one, GCAD, GOD. reset chart. Reset chart. So I see here this already came in and hit stop loss. Let me move on to the next one. So as you guys can see on different, I want you guys to notice that on different brokers, you guys will see different setups. So example, if we went over here and we changed it to Hugo's way, I may see things in Hugo's way that was not in, you know, Trader's way, right? So right here we see the same GBP, we see the same GBP CAD idea. And this was a good, valid idea to go up to the upside, right? Risk reward made a lot of sense. So I would have been inclined to take that position. Now UJ is that good. UJ is telling us to sell, 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 which I don't doubt, but I like to see more upside movement. So right here we have also NZD/USD, which is one of the pairs that we said we was going to look out for. But this is just completely taken off. So for now, I'm gonna just ignore it. To be quite honest, I'm gonna just ignore it. You have to use those brokers listed as far as when you're navigating within the Harmonics scanner, right? So these are just the brokers that are recommended for you to use. You can search through them and find a pair that you like and score. If you're already Hugo's, we just stick to Hugo's way. But I want to let you know that in each broker, when you click on it, there's going to be different ideas, right? So don't be scared. Just take action, right? That's what I would say. So right here, GBCAD, this went up. I want you guys to take the time, go through your list of what's the name, of pairs that you wanna trade, and stick to the same pairs. Like stick to the same pairs. What I suggest to everyone I work with personally, I tell them, look, I want you to pick 8 Forex pairs that you're going to be trading on a regular, right? You know, 8 to 10 pairs, right? Out of those 8 to 10 pairs, there's going to be 5 of them that's going to be their bread and butter for trading, right? And I have them pick one to two indices for them to trade on and practice on up until the point they can go live with it. And also, I also have them literally go live using the services so they can now make a profit on the regular while they're still practicing these steps. Very, very more so, very crucial. All right, guys. I suggest having an account for Forex, having an account for crypto. That's what I highly, highly suggest to everybody. So I trade using prop trading platform. I would not use a scanner. Then are you different? Are there difference? Okay, are there difference in broker Harmonic scan base? It doesn't really change anything. I don't really look at a spread as far as Harmonic scanner goes. I just go there. If it has good risk reward, I copy and paste. Honestly, guys, don't make it more complicated than. Don't even make it complicated because it's simple at this point. You have your entry points. Measure risk reward, and that's that. You're off after that, right? If you use prop trading, you can still use the harmonic scanner for direction, right? So example, me, I use the harmonic scanner for the direction, but steady for my entries. So you guys have seen how some of you guys may have already seen how I'm able to get entries. I get entries on a really low, I get really good entries trading premium price, right? I'll trade everything from the premium price. So example from this low to this high right here, right? Let me show you guys a quick example. Oops, fibs. I do my best to enter my trade ideas within the 71, 88.6, 78.6 and 8.86. Most of the times, that's where I enter all my ideas almost all the time. Like literally almost all the time. I don't even play with it, right? So it comes into those zones, it rejects, take off every single time. I like those premium entries, so I'm very, very much patient for it, and that's how I was able to, really identify the zones, right? That's the same way I was able to catch this. So I would just suggest, yes, you can learn a strategy, but use the harmonic scanner to teach you the direction, and you can use the steady platform teaching you the skill set to now master the art of sniping the markets as a whole. But just this harmonics, this is gems. Because the same thing you do right here on the Harmonics, you can go into the DCX Harmonics and do that for everything considered into spot trading, right? So this is where it gets really, really, really interesting now, where you can now tap in not only into the Forex side of things, but on the crypto side of things, you can now utilize this to, place trade, right? So the same thing for Forex, same thing applies. I'll just focus on the more on 1 hour, 1 hour 30 and the 15 of Forex. For the expert charts, those are the ones that are check marked. That means Anas wrote on those charts, right? Anas Hijra wrote on those charts, right? So right here, I'm gonna go right back to I'm gonna go right back into the harmonics really quickly. And in the harmonics, I want you guys to notice this, guys, right? You guys can definitely go into different time frames. When you're looking for gold, the majority of the time is on the 30 minutes of each broker. So I would highly suggest just, keeping tabs on what's going on. It's most of the times it's always going to be looking like this. Like they already see this already smashed through all the TPs. Now it's trying to make its way back down, right? So I'm sure one of these brokers has gold doing something different now. They all approximately all had it going up. Let's see who has it different. Does anybody have gold doing something else? None of the brokers. Is it FX Choice? They're doing something else. Let me see. Oh, that's interesting. So gold is already starting to fall right now. Gold's already starting to fall right now, but I want to make sure everyone understands the basics, right? Once again, it's pretty much following the risk to reward, making sure you're focused on certain pairs, right? And I mainly focus on these main pairs, right? I follow this rule, which is pretty much 5 to 10 trades per day using a scanner, right? 3 to 5 times per week out of your week, right? Trading between 7 a.m. all the way up until 12:1, and then in the evening time at 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. Whenever I'm saying that time is considered Eastern time, so just modify that slightly to your own time zone. You can also choose to trade 1 hour, 4 hour, and 15, 30 minutes. All depends how fast you want your back to be secured, right? There's no right or wrong way to actually do this. And you want to make sure that you're using good risk to reward, minimum 3 to 1, 5 to 1 risk to reward ideas. And, check on different time frames what's going on. I feel like the best broker for me is always going to be FX Choice, and literally Hugo's Way, and Hot Forex. Those are like those are the ones that I go for more than anything else, guys. So that's gonna be it for the harmonic scanner. I don't think there's anything else left to show. I hope this was very more so informative to you guys. Hope you guys love the information I'm sharing. So I would highly suggest just rewatching this and just practicing, coming on here and looking for your risk reward. If it has good risk to reward, it makes sense. Take the trade. Don't waste time. Don't look to your left. Look to your right. If you're not sure, find us in the chat box and ask us a question. Look Ralph. Okay, look Manny. Okay, look Jason. Like find anybody in the chats, right? Whether they're 2 months old into this, 1 month old, there's gonna be somebody that's gonna see your message and is gonna reply to you, right? I urge people not to private message me privately for questions, because I rather you guys go ahead and ask those questions within the group chat communities, unless you're not directly within the community. That way, it's not only your question will not only benefit you, it benefits everybody that's watching and that had the same question, but they were too shy to ask them. So I always say, go ahead and ask your questions away, because it's just here to help you grow and propel yourself, right? So that'll be all from me from the scanner. I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording.